the Psycho Accountability Club live call at 4:30. If you're seeing this later, it was recorded. All the details are in the lower third. Let's jump right in. How's it going, guys? You guys all have a good week this week?
Yes, sir.
Been great.
My son has gotten up within 5 to 20 minutes after. Actually, he's gotten up a few times before I've finished, but my wife didn't call me to come get him. I get him in the morning when he wakes up. So this week, it's here we are Friday. I've gotten a few things done across the week. Nothing like the normal amount of work. In those 5 days, it's 15 hours I normally get. I've probably got 3 or 4 hours worth of work done this week. But what's really interesting, I find that I've been doing this for a while now, so it doesn't even affect me because I know the compound effect. Like, it's okay that I might have a week that's not as productive. Wrote a book, and I was just every day I was like ideas and refinement and refinement. And at the end of the week, you're like, wow, I got a lot done. This week I finished, and I still feel that same way. I still feel good, even though I've only had really 3 hours in the morning. I've been up because mentally, like my mindset is I'm here for my son. That's number one. So I've achieved that. And I think over time, like, you can really, like, if you feel down on yourself, it kind of pulls you down. Like, I'm not feeling down. I'm feeling like I hope he doesn't get up early this morning. I got a lot of work this morning. They're going away for the weekend, my wife and son. So I'm like, all right, I'll catch up there, but anybody got any thoughts on how they like for me, my mindset doesn't change, so it's galvanized. But there were times when there are times when you start to get down on yourself. I feel like it's once you start getting down on yourself. Rob, you probably have some thoughts here. Commadori, especially from maybe religious angles or not. Like, how do you self-talk yourself into keeping focus and a really good mindset?
Well, I mean, it's all about, so many things going on here. And anytime something doesn't go your way, you got to push through it. And it's about if you see the background, the grit and the grind, you got to grind through it and you got to have grit, right? And that's important to me. But from a spiritual sense, it's always the phrase, a scriptural phrase, this too shall pass. And things pass, and good things pass, and bad things pass. So everything passes, and so I think the important piece is to be aware of being in the moment, because that moment it's fleeting, it's flashing. And if you can be in that moment and know that things are going to change, things you have to adapt and improvise. So one of my favorite things is when things don't go the way we want to go. I'm a baseball guy. I played college baseball, and I think of the curveball. You look at a fastball, and a curveball comes. What they tell you to do with it. If it's not your pitch, just foul it off. Take it. Go the other way with it. Take it up the middle. You got to be able to change that mindset when things don't go your way, and have a positive attitude about it. Look, I'm not Mr. Positive 100% of the time. There's days where I'm like, I just don't feel like doing this today. But you got to push through it if you want the desired result at the end of the day.
Anybody else got any thoughts on how they get their mindset, keep it in a good space? Do you self-talk? What are some of the tricks that you use to stay positive?
I just try to remind myself that no matter what's going on with you, some man or woman woke up somewhere in the world today and didn't know where they were going to get clean water from. I run my shower for 5 minutes before I get in it to make sure it's steaming hot. So most of that other stuff that you get concerned about is trivial.
True. That's such a good point. When I wake up, even though I'm maybe tired, you gotta go to bed at the right time to be able to get up, so it doesn't, it's not a domino effect, right? And and know that there's always tomorrow, right? So you do the best with what you're given, and you move on with it. I don't get too caught up on it. I get going on what I have, and some days are better than others, but you make progress over perfection, and yeah, be grateful for what you have, right?
I had a listing appointment with a pathologist yesterday, and she just retired. And her job is to look at, like, when you go into the doctor and get something removed, she's the one that looks under the microscope and says that's cancer or that's whatever it is. And my sister passed away from cancer, so I always like, so I don't have to do it anymore, but I used to always think like Ray, with like perspective of, I'm healthy. I don't, like, nothing I'm dealing with is like the impending doom of death or things that are really, really bad. And we had a really interesting conversation yesterday about like, like I was asking her, is that stressful? Is that like, her most stress, because people send tissue samples from all over the country, was if they couldn't identify it, what exactly it was. That was like really stressful. But I got a call from a past client like last week, and they were like, yeah, we're selling this 70 property portfolio with this other agent because that's kind of like what they do, kind of thing. And I was like, what? But I was like, I was like, whatever. It should really bother me a lot, but it doesn't. So I'm pretty happy with my ability to just like move on mentally, because I think if you anchor into that, like, if I really thought about that, I'd get so pissed off. But it's whatever.
We're all just looking for a better set of problems. Somebody once told me before, if you got that 70 property portfolio and you sold it, the FDIC only insures your accounts up to $250,000. You'd have that problem to deal with, right? So like we're just looking for a better set of problems. Fortunate to have had that opportunity. Somebody didn't actually even have that opportunity.
Does anybody have a problem? Oh, I mean, does anybody have the opposite problem where they get stuck in a bad mindset and can't get out of it?
I think just being aware of you're having that negative mindset, you got to be able to turn it off like that, or coach yourself. Like I used to tell my kids, look, it's okay to have a pity party, just don't stay there. Have it for a minute, have it for an hour, whatever, and then get out of it.
Isn't it the worst when you deal with people that seem to get comfortable in being angry and upset and pissed off, and it's just brutal to deal with people like that. That's not my major thought, but I do like to get out of angry, upset, bothered, and back into happy land. But I guess my whole point, I was just curious, I mean, it's something we all deal with. Like, things are going to piss us off. Like you said, Rob, you do get pissed off. But I mean, for me, I actively try and get out of that headspace as quick as possible. I think it's really, it keeps you from being able to think of the solution or get back into a positive mindset.
Yeah, I tell, especially with home inspections and clients, it's funny. I use this whole react respond thing. If you're going to react, it's going to be negative. If you take your time and marinate on it, it'll be more positive. You respond like, so you have a home inspection and the seller gives you the buyer gives you the report and the repair request. And I send it off to my clients. I tell them ahead of time, when this happens, I'm going to send it to you and I'll call you tomorrow. And they look at me like, why would you call me right away? I'm like, because I don't want to talk to you when you're in a reactionary mode. I want to talk to you after you thought about it and you're ready to respond. You don't want to worry about winning the battle. You want to win the war, right? The goal is to sell the house, not to get every last penny out of it. Just sell the house and get what your desired result is. But there's going to be some tweaks or some kinks or some speed bumps along the way. But I'd rather talk to you in a response mode, not in reaction mode.
Yeah, a well-defined problem is half solved, right? I say that when people come to me, when somebody's in that frame of mind that you're referring to, Ron, or somebody that's dealing with something. I'm like, let's define the issue, right? Really clearly define it, and then we have at least the baseline of what we have to do to resolve it, right? And then you address it, right? And if you can't get beyond it, then maybe you just get separated from that person that can't get beyond it. Life's too short to get caught up on dumb shit, right? You do your best to help somebody get through it. If they can't get through it, an employee, team member, et cetera, client, move on, right? The shit
Yeah.
happens. Deal with it.
Well, we've hit our time. I hope you guys have a great Mindset Friday. Kill it. Talk about it tomorrow morning.
Good stuff, man. Have a great day.
See you
Take
guys.
care.